and they were taking prasad. And at home, my mother, my auntie Sonavali and Sachi Mata, my wife and my sisters, they all got together and they made very nice prasadam. So these two devotees were relishing. And they were eating for a long, long time because, they were having dal puri, rice, dal, a few sabjis, a couple of pakoras and samosas and vadas and kachoris, a good variety of sweets, couple of drinks, ice cream, all that. But they were counting the dalpuris and they had 5 dalpuris each and they were still continuing. They went to 10 dalpuris each and they were still continuing. It went 11 and this went 12. Then they went 13 and they went 14. Then Maharaj Narasimha Swami took the 15th one and Ramananda Prabhu gave up. And that's, you ask him today, that's the record of 15 dalpuris together with a big feast, a huge feast. To me, that was a record. We witnessed it, we just couldn't believe it. But at the end of it, they both, said one thing. They can eat and eat, but it depends on the cook. If the cook is good, prasadam is nice, then you can relish more and more. And they were very, very good cooks. And I think she ate away because she filled the bellies of many, many devotees throughout South Africa, especially the older devotees in those days. We went on Sangitan, we did so many festivals, and she cooked prasadam for so many devotees. And I think that service has opened the way spiritually. So today she has paved the way out of this material world, and I'm confident she has attained the spiritual destination in association with Krishna and all the spiritual associates. Now that she's there, we can request that she opens the doors for all of us, because she is special, and that we can still have her spiritual association. So Mukhara Devi, thank you for being the person you're being, and thank you for being the mom that you are to all of us. Grandmom, great-grandmom, devotee, and a friend, and dear associates to all of us. And that's why we have so many of us gathered here today. So I just want to say thank you. Her Grace Sri Mukhara Devi Dasi Ki Jai.
Check. Thank you very much, Jayananda Prabhu, for your heartfelt appreciation of Mom, as well as giving us some of the history. I think devotees need to write down these memoirs so that we can have them for posterity. So Nitai is going to help me here because we have some recordings on his phone, and he's going to play them. As I call their names, he'll find them and play them. This first recording is actually Prema Madhurya's, but she preferred to record it as she'd feel a little overwhelmed to speak today. And we'll hear her message.
Always loved Mukhara Devi Dasi. You had a lot on your mind. You were strong, wise and independent. That's really hard to find. You always did your best to keep up a lovely home. You were the apple of my eye, my best friend, spiritual guide and hero. That's something no one won't deny. Everything you did was with happiness and love. Each night before you went to bed, you paid thanks to Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and our Guru Maharaj for their grace, for giving you the strength to get through each long day. But being the world's great mom, that's something no one can take away. You worked side by side in every service I took on, preparing prasad for the devotees and our Lord, where the deeper bond was forged and ensured our souls will always be connected. Our paths have separated for now, but I know they will cross again soon. Until we meet again, forever in my heart you remain. I am so thankful for all you were to me and all you have done for my mom, my strength, and my empire. I always love you, Mom.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prema Madhurya Mataji. And we know how you're served together. Right, so your mom's good qualities have, you have imbibed them as well. And we see that we also have the same affectionate reception from you as your mom used to give us. This is a message from Sukhanti Radha Mataji, the cousin of Jayananda. And she was here a few weeks ago doing a presentation. So the message reads as follows. Hare Krishna, respected devotees, friends and family. Her Grace Mukhara Devi Dasi was my poor. I have some great family memories of my aunt. She was our family's torchbearer into Krishna consciousness. I was only around 12 years old when my aunt used to come with my cousins for school holiday to our home, which was my grandfather's home. It was the best times of our life. Our school holidays with her were spent going door to door in Clara State, distributing Back to Godhead magazines, selling incense sticks, and the annual temple calendar. We had none of Srila Prabhupada's books back then in 1978, but we gathered a lot of customers used to pre-book calendars and incense as well in advance. I had no idea what I was doing. We just followed her like a Pied Piper. I remember it was so much fun doing that. It was my first taste of Krishna consciousness. I had no idea about that until it was explained to me years later by His Holiness Parthasarathy Das Goswami Maharaj at Durban Rath Yatra. When I relocated to UK, my aunt encouraged me to go to ISKCON, London. She said, "You're alone in UK and we worry about you, but if you have association of devotees, they will take care of you and keep you in the right direction." She was not wrong. She was always caring and loving today. Today I never looked back. Through her mercy and guidance, I've served in several services in UK and serve in several services nationally and internationally. She's a true pioneer of ISKCON South Africa. She knew how to advise us and could see potential, and she knew when people needed more time. That's a sign of a true pioneer. So many of our immediate family members have now become Krishna conscious through my dear aunt. Srila Prabhupada would be so proud of her. She leaves behind a huge legacy of amazing devotees doing amazing services in our family. Whilst her funeral was taking place, a very important service got approved and arrived in my inbox. Today, on her third day of service, another amazing service got approved. Such is the Shakti and mercy of Her Grace Mukhara Devi Dasi, my great aunt. She is showing me a sign that I now have a guardian angel. I will miss her, praying for her peaceful journey back to Krishna's lotus feet and looking forward to meeting her again. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sukati Mataji, for your sweet message of appreciation. We now want to call another wonderful devotee and son, His Grace Govindaji Prabhu. You please come up. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mam, Mukhara Devi Dasi, Ma. These are the names you carried all my life. The journey I shared with you throughout my life is nothing short of extraordinary, adventurous, exciting, uplifting, and spiritually nurturing. Thank you so much for ensuring my education, work ethics, and bringing me up with strong sets of values that became my compass as I navigated life. You always stayed up waiting until I arrived safely from work, temple, or from my travels, thereafter checking if I needed anything to eat. You were there every waking hour when Nitai was born and formed a bond with him that he will forever carry in his life. You understood the importance of my service and made sure I progressed in my spiritual life, inspired me to take shelter and get initiated. You traveled to India with me and shared precious moments that are engraved in my heart. You were always there for me whenever and wherever I needed you throughout my life. You demonstrated how one's entire life can be offered to the Lord and His devotee in service. The last 3 months were the most precious time we spent together. You gave me the opportunity to massage your feet when you couldn't walk anymore. You allowed me the opportunity to feed you when you could not feed yourself. You let me read to you and allowed me to chant with you. Through these acts of service to you, a deeper understanding of how to serve was forged. I can now understand that to truly serve someone, you must see their happiness as your own. You have taught me in this time, through your association, words and actions, the true service stems from love. Your service is actually love in action, and what a genuine service attitude should be. Thank you for raising my siblings and I in Krishna consciousness, and for the beautiful family you have given me. I would not have been able to all I did and take care of you without the love, support, help and sacrifice of my sisters, Prema, Madhuri and Shah. Prema, you stood by Ma every step of the way and pushed yourself even when your health was not its best. Thank you for all you did for Ma. Thank you for taking care of me and helping me in my service. Shah, you always seem to pick up our spirits, even in the lowest. Thank you for always making time to step in to help and for showering us with light and positivity. In closing, I recall the words of Srila Prabhupada. A common man must first begin to serve the spiritual master of the devotee. Then through the mercy of the devotee, the Lord will be satisfied. Unless one receives the dust of a devotee's lotus feet on one's head, there is no possibility of advancement. Dear Mom, thank you for all your association, for being first Guru, all allowing us to serve you in this lifetime, and for being my guiding North Star. All glories to Mukhara Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna. That was really touching. Govindaji Prabhu is usually very quiet, and now you can see how deeply he's been impacted by his mom and her passing, and that appreciation was really heartwarming. Earlier we were hearing from Jayananda Prabhu how all his siblings and everybody's impacted by Mukhara. So Govindaji Prabhu is doing amazing service here, very quietly, but he's a lot in the festivals and cooking, and especially there's a mobile temple on wheels, which was his idea together with the team, and they go out taking Krishna with them everywhere, giving Krishna to everyone. It's now also my privilege to call another daughter, Shalina Mataji, who is also located in Johannesburg.
Hare Krishna. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. Mom, Hare Krishna. Mom, I love you, and that sums up our relationship. But what I want to speak today is what that love was and what it would continue to be. Thank you for being just a phone call away. For those daily calls that I would give you. Thank you for being that listening ear. You always supported me, being my cheerleader, being always proud of me. And yes, that was my daily dose of love. My favorite pastime was the ability to make you laugh, no matter how angry you were with me or with anyone else. I loved your charming smile and your infectious laugh. This love will be dearly missed. We always discussed ways forward in our daily life challenges based on the lectures we heard from our shared love for Amamendra Prabhu. I surely made you a fan as well, Mom. Our favorite quote from Prabhu was, when our heart becomes soft like butter, the butter thief will come and steal our hearts away, and that will simply purify our heart and soften our heart to chant the holy name. This was your mantra. Never forget Krishna. Always remember him. Chant his holy name fearlessly in the face of any situation, and always remain in the shelter of ISKCON. The love you and I shared was very special, Mom. You were there for me in the darkest of times when I had jazz and I lost all hope. But you always gave me the hope, the support, the prayers, and I'll always be grateful for that. You always told me that always Krishna must be at the center of my life. And thank you, Mom, for always teaching me this. I now teach my children that you may forget me one day, but never forget Krishna. So thank you, Mom, for teaching me this and for always making sure that Krishna always remained in our lives, in our hearts, and in our prayers. Your love for me came in many different directions and I will store it in my memories, and I will carry forward these memories in every step that I take forward. Thank you, Mom. I love you very much, and thank you for being my mom in this lifetime. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shalina Mataji. And as everyone speaks, we are hearing the qualities of Mukhara Mataji, and it was wonderful to hear her loyalty and allegiance to Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON in Shalina Mataji's eulogy. So it's time for the next generation to speak, and that is the grandchildren. So I would like to call Shyam to please come, and then Jayadev will follow.
Hare Krishna. I'm lucky to be her first grandchild of Her Grace Mukhara Devi Dasi, and because of that I was blessed to be in a family whom all took care of me. So yes, Krishna spoiled me with many babysitters. As you are in ISKCON, you have an extended family also, and even devotees took care of me. As well as it generally goes, well, grandparents. If parents take care of the kids so well, you can imagine what grandparents are like. I can say she's in my experience, a good reason why they put the word grand in grandparents. As it's been in my experience so far, I was also fortunate enough to experience it also in a different way. I also got to see my grandmother be a great-grandmother to Krishnadas and Gaura Haridas, albeit for a short time. I would be eternally grateful to her for all that she did for me. It is a debt I cannot repay, nor ever be able to explain to anyone, because that's how grand it was to me. I only pray that I might be also fortunate enough that we continue our grand adventure in Goloka Vrindavan Dham. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Mukhara Devi Dasi ki.
Thank you, Shyam. All these young men have grown up in front of us. We see them. And you can see it's the testament to the impact of Granny, that every subsequent generation has become such wonderful devotees. Jayadev, please come.
Hare Krishna, dear family, friends, and all you wonderful devotees. It is with mixed feelings that I stand before you today to pay tribute to someone so special. I'm not going to stand here and tell you what an incredible person Ma was. Everyone's aware of that. It's a testament that you're all here today. She was a selfless Vaishnava who dedicated her life to serving. And today I just wanted to share a few special moments with her. I think, as we all know, Ma was the embodiment of love, care, and appreciation. I remember as a small kid, whenever she was cooking in the dairy kitchen, especially for like festivals or every Sunday, whenever I felt a little hungry, I would run up the staircase and I would stand by the gate and I would shout, "Ma, Ma, Ma," and she knew exactly what I wanted. She'd come to the gate with a little bit of maha, usually a puri with some paneer, and this happened so often, and it was the best maha I ever had. Years later, when I stayed in Nordin, she would always check with me what to cook, because she knew I was a fussy eater. So before preparing anything, she'd always ask, "Is this okay? Is that okay?" And she never complained about anything. She was, just how selfless she was. She never thought about making things that she liked. She always just wanted to make sure everyone was happy. Usually a family has some degree of anxiety when a daughter or a granddaughter gets married. But Ma was worried for me because she knew what a fussy eater I was. I'm going to find someone to take good care of me. And a couple of years into marriage, she saw me and she said, she's really happy and she's appreciative to see that, I'm happy and I'm being taken care of so nicely. She was always looking out for our well-being. No matter how old we were or how far we moved away, she would always worry about us. Recently, when I came to spend a day with her in Durban, we spoke about spiritual life, and she wanted to hear about my initiations. She wanted to hear about my time with my spiritual master, and she was so excited. And when she heard I decided to take shelter from a guru, she always cared for everyone else around her. She always put them first. She was truly one of a kind, and I'm very grateful to have had her as a grandmother, and I'm very proud to be her grandson. I'll miss you, Ma. Thank you for everything you have shown and taught me. You showed us how to lead a life in bhakti, and we can only pray to be able to follow in your footsteps. Her Grace Mukhara Devi Dasi ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So we're also very proud of our youngsters who become such wonderful devotees. They left us and gone to Johannesburg. We train them up in Durban and we send them to Joburg. So we will have some audio messages from some other grandchildren. There's Sanveer. He's recording. Sanveer is in Johannesburg as well. Right. So he sent a message, and let us hear.
Hare Krishna. My fondest memories of Nani is that she was always such an amazing lady. She always used to pray for me. She always used to love me. She always made sure I was always fed. And whenever I came to Durban, and she always made sure that whatever successes I have, she's always saying well done and congratulating me. So may she rest in peace, and I know she's in a much better place now, and I do miss her a lot, and I love her and I miss her so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sanveer. So now we have another audio message by someone who's present here. And Nitai, he's also a little shy, so he recorded his message and he'll play it now. I told him he could lip sync.
To the greatest grandmother of all time. Words cannot describe the heaviness in my heart. You always understood me. You knew every thought way before I could even perceive it. Throughout my life, you've always been there for me. You always waited for me after school, cooking my favorite pasta every Friday, and introducing me to the best dessert in the world, custard and jelly. You made sure I read the Bhagavad Gita with you every evening, which established the progress in my spiritual life. We even watched football together every weekend, and you knew all the names of the Man City players. I will truly miss our time together, hearing you laugh, seeing you smile, but I am grateful for the time I had with you, for all your love, care, and guidance. I will treasure our time together and know that by holding on to that appreciation, I will have the strength to face any challenges that come my way. Ma, you gave me everything. You introduced me to Krishna, and you were the constant in my life. No matter what, I knew I always had you. You will always be in my heart, even though our interaction with you now will be a bit different. I know that our communication will now be via the holy name of the Lord, and I rest assured that you are now in the spiritual world, and now you will be watching over me, to which I will do my best to make you proud. When I think about you going forward, the sadness of your physical absence will be replaced by a deep sense of gratitude and everlasting appreciation for everything you are to me. Mukhara, Devi, Dasi, Ki Jai.
That was so wonderful. Even Govindaji, as I was saying, you were quiet, but we had a wonderful message from you. Similarly, Nitai is always quiet, but really astute in his appreciation of his grand. Thank you, Nitai. So now we have another audio by Jasveer. Fine.
My fondest memories of Nani is when we had the New Year's Eve and New Year's. We celebrated New Year's, we had happy times, and Nani used to pray for me every day when I was in hospital when I was small, and I pray for her that she's in a better place now, and God bless her.
So these were all the offerings by the grandchildren. Now, we have been hearing about the influence and the effect that Mukhara Mataji has had on everyone. And so here's an offering by Bhaktin Idlet, who works for the family in Johannesburg. So let's hear this audio.
I'll miss you, Nani. You was a mother to me, always laughed with me, but I will never forget the year 2008. I spent lots of time with you. Rest in peace, Nani.
A short and sweet message. For the final speakers from the family, I'd like to call Eric, who's a cousin. Hare Krishna, Eric. And thereafter we'll have the privilege of listening to Swarup Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. There's so much of emotion tonight, but this is emotion charged with electricity. And I'm reminded of a poem by an English poet called John Donne. And John Donne wrote a poem in which he said, "Death, be not proud, because death thou shalt die." And it seems to me that tonight this has become a reality. Because death has died, and we're celebrating life. Life of a wonderful, magnanimous woman. Minipua, as I call her, was my aunt. My dad was her brother, and she hailed from a family of 7 children. She belonged to a very popular family, and I have no idea why they had this nickname, the Buck Jones Singh family. And my Aja used to be a long-distance taxi driver, and he would do long distance as far as Kokstad, Matatiao. And he was more of the darker complexion, much like me. And I have no idea how, when he went on his way to Kokstad, Matatiao, he found this lovely woman, my Aji. And my Aji was actually classed as white, and her surname was Capers. So now you know why I'm talking about the dark skin and the fair skin. And that was during the apartheid days, so he was a brave man, so the Singh blood is quite brave. And they gave offspring to 7 children, and Minipua was the second child, the eldest daughter. She had 4 brothers and 2 other sisters. We have Goripua here, who is the last one standing in that family, and she has many, many more years to go. And I've got the fondest memories of having many, many holidays at the Charan family household. And I remember the whole lifestyle changed very slowly. Initially, we were confused, but now it makes sense. Because you'd go there on a holiday and find there's a new style of prayer. And I'd wonder, is this Hindi? And now I know it was Sanskrit, all these wonderful songs. And that's where I began to pick up the beads and started to chant. And you'd be awoken at 3:45 in the morning by Ganesh Pupa chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in his loud booming voice, and you'd wonder what's going on. But now I realize to have woken up every morning for those days of holidays to hear somebody chanting the name of God was a blessing for me. And so too my association with Krishna consciousness began. So not only were they successful in making Krishna consciousness so alive in their own homes, in their children's lives, and now their grandchildren's lives, but they impacted significantly on families' lives. And I was impacted, and so was my family. And we have other members of our families that were impacted as well. You've got a devotee called Rukmani Devi Dasi, who's quite prominent in this temple. And she's my first cousin. And her association, and I have no idea but why she thanks me for coming into Krishna consciousness, but I thank Minipua's family, because that was my association. So we had wonderful holidays. She was firm and strict, but gentle. She was loving, but you couldn't exploit that love and have your way with her. She showed love equally, and I was her nephew, but she probably treated me when I was there better than Rajan and Jayraj, because she favored the outsiders. So, looking at her picture today, you would not say that she was in her 80s, because she's still so beautiful. And I'm sure she's standing above, watching, and realizing that she probably feels great now, because to have had this ceremony in this golden temple as I see it, a lot happens when you die. And when you die, the kind of things people say about you, and the kind of magic they feel, is best testimony to the kind of life you've led and the kind of person you are. So we will love you forever, Minipua, and may your soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I know I said it was a concluding message. However, there's 2 persons, and if there's anybody else who wants to speak, please let me know now. Anyone? Rukmini. Okay, thank you. So So this message is from Krishna Chandra Prabhu, and he's speaking of his association with Mataji. He begins, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru and Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Her Grace Mother Mukhara Prabhu. When my wife Prema Vanya and I heard of Mother Mukhara's passing away, she immediately mentioned to me, what a wonderfully warm-hearted and gentle devotee who always greeted you with a smile, hugs and sweet words. This is such a perfect description of Mother Mukhara's amazing personality. I remember countless times being in her association, and each and every time she would always help me to remember Krishna or Krishna's devotees. This unique ability of a devotee to inspire in another remembrance of Krishna is very rare. Yes, the sannyasis have this ability, but Mother Mukhara had that special potency to help me remember Krishna. I pondered this point in the last 2 days and came with the reasoning that it was her gentle nature, her contagious smile, her deep practice of devotion, and her unflinching faith in Guru and Srila Prabhupada that had culminated in her having the potency to make one think about Krishna, as she herself was such a sincere devotee of Krishna and his devotees. She was such a genuine person that in her presence you could not help but be humble in your disposition, even if you yourself were not humble. Her humility caused our own humility. Thank you, dear Mother, for your kindness and your affection upon me. You will also always have your special place in my heart. We pray that you will bless us with a drop of your mercy, so that we can also develop such qualities that you so expertly displayed. From Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Prema Vanya Mataji, and his son Bhakta Gambhira Chaitanya. Mukhara Mataji ki. So we'll call the last 2 speakers. Rukmini, will you please come, and then we'll round it off with Rupa Vilas Prabhu.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvyevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. About a week and a half ago, we got the chance to visit Mukhara Mataji, and it was such a beautiful time to spend some time with her. Because actually somehow, although we had some relation, I didn't get to spend so much time with her. It's just the way things happened. But I wanted to visit her because I wanted to say thank you, because she brought in divine Sukriti in that bloodline, and somehow I was linked to it, and so I know that on that odd day when I get a bolt of mercy, it's coming from somewhere else, somewhere like Mukhara. What struck me so much was the way she was, although struggling to breathe, was so super conscious. You know, and when I offered to read or chant with her, she was so enthusiastic about it. And even though, you know, in obvious pain, she was so focused, so utterly clear in mind and focused. And we were singing Jai Radha Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan, and I saw her whole countenance just rise when we did that. And when we left, I just felt so uplifted, like I'd visited the Holy Dham. It just felt like that. It didn't feel like heavy, which is sometimes how it feels when you visit somebody who's ill. It just felt so uplifting. And the last thing I want to share is when we were leaving, I got the opportunity to place my head at her feet. And the one thing she told me was, whatever you do, always follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. And that just showed me her loyalty, that even in her last moments, that was where her consciousness was at. And so I'm so very honored to be connected to this great soul, and Dear Mukhara Mataji, please bless me that I can always follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Rukmini. Rukmini is a resident here at the temple, leading our youth initiatives, Bhakti Theatre, Bhakti Yoga Society, herself giving up her university education to do this full time. So very appreciative. And by your interaction with Mukhara Mataji, then we all have that instruction now. Whatever you do, always follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. So it's also my privilege to ask Rupa Vilas to please conclude this evening's messages. Rupa Vilas Prabhu is our North Dean Namahata leader, and as a young man grew up under the shelter of the Charan family and the devotional activities there.
Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Shunivari Paskatya Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Mukhara Mataji. In times of distress, we need to revert back to the guidance given by to us by Krishna, when he had spoken to Arjuna just before the greatest war of all times. Just as Arjuna was perplexed by having to be an instrument used in the departure of his family members, we too as humans are sometimes put into these difficult situations. In life, the only thing we can 100% guarantee is death, for it is sure to come to all of us. And in such times we can take comfort from our scripture. How to deal with these helpless experiences is guidance given to us by our scripture. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks, 3:21. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes the following statement. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principles of such standard scripture. One who desires to improve himself must follow the rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees. That is the way of progress and on the path of spiritual realization. In my experience, serving at Northern Namahata, I found that Mukhara Mataji exemplified this character by leading by example. Having been one of the first devotees in Northern, she never gave up her attachment to helping the Namahata. At a senior tender age and walking discomforts, she always made the effort of making her way down those steps to make her way to Namahata every week. She set the example of having to sacrifice her bodily discomforts to push on this movement in whatever simple way she could. In this case, it was to be present at Namahata. During festivals at Northern Hall, Sant Hall, she always supported by taking our invite first to her deities, Sri Sri Gauranitai, who would then attend our programs on her lap. Mukhara Mataji has most certainly set a wonderful example of maintaining our Krishna consciousness through life, even when the path can sometimes be set on thorns. Whatever difficulty there may be, we need to push on this movement and support in whatever little we can do, even if it just means being present as she did. On behalf of the festival committee, the previous leaders of Nodi Namahata, thank you, Mataji, for setting such a wonderful example to me and my family especially. Hare Krishna. Mukhara Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Rupa Vilas Prabhu. You have an insight into Mataji's commitment as a leader there in Nordin, but at the same time being led by Mukhara Mataji. So, the glory of a devotee knows no end. And we have many, many people who could say so many wonderful things. But we have to conclude with this message which just came. This is the power of the internet. So Yamuna's in New Zealand, so she sent this message right now. And my attention was brought to it that we should read it. So let's conclude with this. Hare Krishna. To our family back in SA, it pains us that we could not physically be with you all this difficult time. Know that even though we are miles apart, we hold prayers for each of you deep in our hearts. To Her Grace Mukhara Devi Dasi, dear Nani and Ma, we all know the story behind the home in Nordin and how Nana built that house and how from there you and him hosted and supported His Holiness Parthasarathy Das Goswami Maharaj in the early days. It is hard to remember this home without you, Nani. The walls and rooms are filled with such joyous memories from a happier time. I have so many beautiful memories of you, always there to welcome us home with a warm hug, always smiling, trying to get me to have more prasad. I'll miss driving you around. I will miss driving you around while you laughed at my silly jokes, spending time with you and listening to your stories. I saw how you impacted the lives of everyone around you, and I'm grateful for your love, care, and raising the family I am now part of. Over the years, much has changed. But then it is said that the only constant in the material world is change. Change separated by time. Amidst the changes in all our lives and the drastic change for Jamuna and I in recent months, I often recall all those countless fleeting moments we shared together. I think how your Nodim home has the same walls and rooms, but it will be very different looking back compared to now. If I think deeper, I can compare that home and our time together as time waiting at a train station. We shared stations briefly on our individual journeys back to Lord Krishna. In this way, only time is separating. Time going back separates us from past shared experience, and it is time going forward separating us from sharing new experiences once again. The difference is the upcoming experience is to be at our final destination, the spiritual abode. Nani, you have now left us at this stop and moved on your way back to our true home in the spiritual abode. And just like you always welcomed us with warm smiles and hugs back here, you are there now with the Lord and waiting to welcome us to your new home. With love, Rajiv and Jamuna. Mukhara Devi Dasi ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for sending that wonderful message. And we also thank you for your wonderful participation and attention here in this program. would like to call His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu, who I know would have been relishing all these glorifications. Swarup Damodar Prabhu. Swarup Damodar Prabhu is our temple president and also been associated with the family for about 25 years. You'd like to stand?
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Good evening. It was indeed very enlivening and inspiring to listen to everyone who offered their homages and realizations on this very wonderful devotee Mukhara Devi Dasi. It is, however, quite late, and knowing Mukhara Mataji and her desire to serve devotees wonderfully, especially with prasadam, we don't want to have you go on too long without prasadam, so we'll just be very quick. On hearing the various talks, especially Nitai's talk, I wanted to touch on, where is Nitai anyway? Nitai? Is there? Yeah, he mentioned something about how his communication with his grandmother will now change, but it will be done through the medium of the holy name of Krishna. And this is a very significant realization that he has shared. It sort of said it very easily and simply, but it has a very deep import. The great acharyas teach us that Harir Nam Eva Kevalam. The holy name of Krishna alone is everything. Everything outside the holy name of Krishna is an illusion. This is a spiritual fact. Golokera Premadan Shri Harinam Sankirtan. That this holy name of Krishna has been transported down here by the will of the Supreme Lord and Srimati Radharani and Lord Chaitanya. It's descended from the spiritual world down here to give us an opportunity to reconnect with our home, with our source, the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. This holy name of Krishna has in it all spiritual reality, all spiritual opulence, all spiritual relationship, all spiritual love is contained in the holy name of Krishna. Not only that, in this age of Kali that we find ourselves in, Kalotad Harikirtana, that the process for God realization, for the perfection of one's human life, lies in this practice of chanting Krishna's holy name. There is absolutely no other way to get perfection in this age outside of chanting Krishna's name. So when we have a strong connection with someone, even on the material bodily level, of course in this case everyone who was connected to Mukhara Mataji is very fortunate, because quite frankly every material relationship that we have, if it's disconnected from Krishna, will drag you down to stay back in the material world. That's just the hard fact of life. But if for some reason, for some grace, some great fortune, you are attached to someone, even through some bodily connection, through some family relationship, Nani, Aji, son, Pua, whatever, if that person's a devotee, chanting Hare Krishna, being connected with the source of all love, the source of all spiritual opulence, Krishna in the spiritual world, that means you are also connected. Then by your attachment to that person, even if it's on the level of some material affection, because it's connected to someone of such a powerful spiritual caliber, your connection to Krishna is also very sublime, very, very important. And that won't drag you back into the material world. It'll elevate you closer to Krishna. So some of you may be here
on the basis of your material affection for her. But don't be fooled by that. By your connection to Mukhara Devi Dasi and her connection to the holy name of Krishna, your material life is over in due course. I'm sorry if that hurts anybody, but we are rejoicing in that all of our material life in due course is over. This is the potency of being connected with someone so dear to Krishna. So, through the chanting of the holy names, by that transcendental spiritual medium, we will all be connected together with her. All we have to do is chant and remember our experiences, but not just to remain dependent on our experiences and our memories, but if we want to go forward and create new memories with her on a transcendental platform, then we chant the holy name of Krishna. Through that medium, everything becomes a reality. Otherwise, everything else is simply false. So thank you, Nitai, for that wonderful, deep reminder of the potency of the holy name. I want to especially appreciate Mukhara Devi Dasi. This year I visited her on Janmashtami, and for me, Janmashtami is such an exciting experience for so many reasons. You get to see the deities, the wonderful kirtans. Of course, the fasting may not be such a wonderful experience, but that aside, you have so many wonderful experiences here at the temple. But for me, that Janmashtami, by far the highlight was spending that hour and a half with her. Just joking, chatting about different things. We didn't talk about Manchester City because, but it was such a wonderful experience. Govindaji was there, and Prema Madhurya, and you were also there. Yeah, everyone was there. It was such a wonderful experience, and I'll hold that Janmashtami, this past Janmashtami, as one of our most blessed experiences in Krishna consciousness by her grace. And to the family of Mukhara Mataji, thank you. I can see more clearly how much she meant to you all and how natural it would be to just want to keep her with you all. But thank you so much for sharing her with all of us, sharing her with so many devotees in the Hare Krishna movement that have been nothing but benefited by her association. Hare Krishna, Her Grace Mukhara Devi Dasi ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Swarup Damodar Prabhu. And we want to conclude this evening's ceremony with kirtan, and as I said earlier, offering of flowers and the arati. So we're going to do this simultaneously. Have we moved the table there yet? Thank you, Krishna Kshetra Prabhu. So the arati will be offered by Jayananda Prabhu to Srila Prabhupada, and the offering, which is now Mahaprasad, will be offered to Mukhara Mataji. You are then also going to be invited to rise and face Srila Prabhupada. And generally, we have the two lines with the Prabhus on one side and the Matajis on the other. If we can manage that, then we'll try. Otherwise, we'll just rise. And you'll be given some flower petals. You can go up in a line. We'll approach. You can do this 2 or 3 at a time so that it goes faster. And offer these petals to Srila Prabhupada and leave a petal or 2, depending how many you can get, at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. And then the remainder of that in your hand, you offer it to Mukhara Mataji. Is that okay? Is that clear? In other words, you're taking Srila Prabhupada's Mahaprasad over to Mukhara Mataji. So let us write. Haribo, get ready. Put a mic there. So we'll do kirtan. We're going to chant Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantras, and we'll do the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We have some opportunity for some seva to help to clear the chairs in the temple room, please. You can stack them up on that side. Thank you so much.